Welcome to podcast 329 of 5-Star Potential, your weekly Football Manager podcast. I'm Dupe, and on this week's pod, I am joined by Joe, aka Friday Night FM, Paul, aka Mad FM, and Dave, the lemon pasta enthusiast. That's an old one. That's a great reference.
We're running out of like more recent gimmicks. So I'll take the lemon pasta.
Dave. You're not doing anything. We love it. On this week's pod, we'll have some save updates. Oh, first of all, gents, are we okay? Everyone okay?
Yeah, all good. Thank you. All good.
I do.
Yeah, everyone well?
Yeah. Thumbnail?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thumbnail pictures. We do it now. Live. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I got the fireworks. That's amazing. Well done. I've got no idea what that is.
Oh dear.
That's one for the audio listeners, anyway.
Yeah.
Audio listeners.
On this week's pod. Yeah, definitely. On this week's pod, we'll have some save updates. We'll reach the archives for a topic for the real help in-game. And we're over to Argentina for our adventures in Wonderkid-Land. Plus, as a party, as a quiz, up the ticks. But before all that, give me your winners of the week. Joe, who is your winner and why is it that person? It wouldn't be me this week. So
spoilers. Spoilers. David De Gea got to be my winner of the week.
Why? Is he signed for someone? I missed it.
No, mate. Did you see the tweet? Or was it made? I don't know if it was made up or not, but I see it and it said, I never conceded 15 goals in 13 games or something
fake. Like that. 100% fake, unfortunately. I actually went and checked because it was a great banner. He is the one that conceded 7 against Liverpool, though. But great banner. I like it. Yeah.
I think, who would you rather have, though?
Unana. Absolutely. All the time of the week.
You're such a bullshitter.
I've got to believe in the guy that's in the sticks now, Joe. I have to believe in the guy that's in goal now.
I see that stat earlier that said the top scorer in the Champions League is Højlund, who hasn't scored a Premier League goal. And the goalkeeper with the most clean sheets in the Premier League is Onana, but has conceded the most in the Champions League.
Yeah. Didn't De Gea do this last year as well? Didn't De Gea have the most clean sheets, but United also conceded quite a lot of goals? Like they're either like no goals or conceding 3 or 4. It's weird.
De Gea was a fucking scapegoat, mate.
Big time.
The thing is, not this time last year, but like in February, March last year, you go through Twitter and all you could see was people saying, we've had enough. We need to see ball playing a goalkeeper week. Like, why is De Gea passing it out like that? We get Onana in, who basically plays with his feet, and now everyone's moaning he can't save a ball. Yeah, it's one of them. And the joys of being a United fan.
There's a few Newcastle fans that are doing this with Nick Pope because Nick Pope's kicking
he was awesome.
Kind of notoriously bad. His kicking isn't great. He puts a lot of balls out over the line, but the saves he's making are just far outweigh the need to have.
That's why you have to ask the question: do you want a goalkeeper or do you want a fucking midfielder in goal?
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think like Nick Pope, that one he saved was incredible. Right?
Yeah, and he does that.
What was that one? It was like a certain goal. Absolutely perfect. Livramento, great in goal. Uses his hand in the box. Awesome. Dave, who's your winner of the week?
My winner of the week is the podcast.
I got to laugh because I'll be out soon.
Is the podcast because we're going on a lads on tour in a couple of weeks. Wolves are playing West Ham away, and we're having a pod meetup. So we're all got tickets in the away end at Wolves.
That's not what it says in the script, though, Dave.
I mean, do I read what's the script says? I've managed to book a 4-man orgy in London, and I'm getting paid. Why am I getting paid for it?
I think you've received payment, mate.
Yeah.
I've received payment for what is owed. Yeah.
I will say this: I don't think we're actually allowed to say that, just in case Craig's listening with a K. He'll be gutted.
Our Airbnb.
I think you need to book in the redecorators, boys.
You find someone on Craigslist.
Up to Craig.
No, I'm really looking forward to it. I'll be honest. I think I was chatting to a guy at work today. As somebody that absolutely adores football, I'm proper excited just to go and see the stadium and see the game.
I was going to say, have you watched the match?
I'm really not that bothered.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you been to the ground? We've been to the ground. But yeah, I've put us in the upper tier as well, rather than the lower tier, because I think a little bit better.
Born in a barn.
Famous now.
Yeah.
It's not the first time she's been on camera this week.
Yeah.
She doesn't know it. I just like watching the football. To be fair, Dave.
That'll be
I
good.
don't
Good
care where we are.
atmosphere. It'll be a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
I think the last
they're
time we played
probably-
West Ham away, Bruno Lage got sacked as well, didn't he? So I don't think
Well, he won't get
Gary
sacked this
O'Neill.
time.
I don't think he'll get sacked this time.
Nah, me either.
I was going to ask a question. Could you remember we were in this? We did the stadium tour of the London
Yeah.
Stadium. Was it 2 years ago, maybe? Or maybe
Yeah,
last
that's
year?
just-
Oh no,
Naka
yes,
was
a
He's
year and a
been
half
signed,
ago.
wasn't he?
Yeah.
When
Oh,
Kabak
that
was
was
yes,
funny.
yeah, just over a year ago. And they were doing it up, Joe, weren't they? Like to bring the seats. I think they were doing a lot of construction. We were there, so they're trying to bring the seats forward to improve the
Yeah,
atmosphere.
and
Has it
increasing the
worked? Has it
capacity. Yeah.
worked? Yeah. Did it work? Like in terms of atmosphere?
Well,
and...
mate, they ain't getting that close.
Okay.
There are certain parts that are closer, but the
Yeah.
away end is terrible.
We'll know all about
We'll
it soon in
find
2
out.
weeks.
Yeah, well, no. I think I just remember Dave trying to do the old sprinters block
Oh,
on
my
the old
word.
home straight.
Oh yeah.
What
Against the
a
two
picture
little
that
12-year-old
is.
girls.
Still my phone.
I'll try if I
background to
remember.
this
I'll put it
day.
on the YouTube. Just
I
for,
bet you
know,
don't.
just for a plug.
I
I'll
know.
You
remember.
do that as
right
well as
now.
I do
Or
links in the Discord in the description.
He didn't get that, did he? The guy, the tour guide. He was really unsure about that one.
Oh, that was so good. Oh God, I love you, lot. Right,
Running
Matt.
for the train.
Yeah, yes, Dave
More
running for
iconic,
the
Joe.
train.
Dread to think who's going to
Oh,
be the
God.
winners and losers of the week after that meetup.
Well,
That's the
probably
Christmas
you.
pod as well.
Yeah. Big
You got to
time.
try and get back to Ireland first, mate. You
I
never
was
know.
going to say with Ryanair taking to Scotland.
I won't even find my way back to the Airbnb. I'll lose the key. So how am I supposed to get on a flight? Anyway,
Mad. Who's your winner of the week, mate?
winner of the week for me is probably a bit of Twitch streaming because I think I've managed to stream like 3 times in the last week, which is probably the equivalent of the last 12
Right,
months.
rub it in.
Yeah. So Dupe's been in the stream, Dave's been in the stream, Joe's been in the stream. Thanks, lads. So I've had three people watching my stream. But like even though I play quite slow, I'm really enjoying the save because just there's a lot of detail in it. And what I'm really enjoying is I find a lot of Swedish guys and folk and Swedish football experts kind of landing in. So they obviously stumbling across it on Twitch. And it really helps you just understand things a bit better about how the league works. I'm still getting my head around. I'll probably come to it in a minute, but I'm still getting my head around the timing of everything because it's the whole April to November league. It just messes with your head when I've always managed the kind of normal schedule. So yeah, winner of the week streaming Twitch. Sorry, Dupe. Too soon.
But my win of the week has to be the one, the only, and I have to mention it. And I am sorry, but the Starboy himself, Garnacho, with that overhead kick.
Oh yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm going
talking
to
about
reference some football. I'm going to reference some Football Manager here, and I have seen a hell of a lot of overhead kick things on TikTok of people putting the people actually scoring overhead kicks. One guy had one where he scored it as a winner in the FA Cup final. It was incredible.
Wow.
So I don't know whether
I'm not
it's
gonna lie.
just a bit more active on Football Manager at the moment, but it looks gorgeous.
I think I'd retire from FM if I won the FA Cup with an overhead kick.
Well, Nick
Imagine
did say,
losing
didn't
it.
he? He said that most of his motion capture is not in it anymore.
I was gonna,
He
yeah,
says
you can
he
tell.
couldn't do a bicycle kick.
Yeah.
But let's just reference Garnacho's goal. It's probably the greatest bicycle kick in Premier League history.
Yeah, let's talk
Wasn't
about
there,
Manchester United on a Football Manager podcast because that goes down well.
No, I'm talking about
there
Garnacho
a
himself.
Wasn't there a poll, Dupe, to see if it was actually the best?
He's
one?
Argentinian, mate.
I knew that was
He's not
coming.
finished. He's only 28. I think they were doing a poll to see if that was the best bike kick ever, and they had like obviously Rooney's was in there. I think Andy Carroll even had one in there.
Andy Carroll's
Garnacho
right,
was
to be
winning.
We was
on that.
literally talking about it before. Haller,
Yeah.
his overhead kick.
Yeah,
Andy Carroll's was more of a scissor than a
That's
bicycle.
what I thought as well.
yeah.
But I
I'd go
mean,
with them,
one of the best goals.
Power
It's
was
pure.
just
It's
insane.
pure. It's completely pure,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Like,
Serious.
I mean, to be fair, anyone that has Peter
Didn't
Crouch
Philip
has a
Mexis-
couple.
Philip Mexis.
Oh,
I
he has it on
think,
his
scored, didn't he?
chest on the edge of the
Yeah.
box and does
Well,
it.
no,
Yeah.
mate. You've
I
got to go
want-
chest. Ronaldinho for Barcelona. Literally chests it.
Yes.
Rivaldo as well, eh?
Shoulder.
Yes.
Rivaldo edge of the box as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Rivaldo's had a good one, but the Ronaldinho
But
one,
Ronaldo's-
he chests it over
yeah,
his
Ronaldo-
shoulder, twists, and then
Yeah.
bites. Oh, mate, that's up there. But
And
Ronaldinho
he gets up
is
and the
the
first
goat.
thing he does is stare at the lino to make sure it's not offside. It was quality.
Yeah.
Losers, Should we talk about some losers, Joe? Who's your loser of the week?
Mad FM.
Whoa.
no.
It's about time.
Why?
I've come this far.
Oh, you want some context?
You don't have to.
Basically,
No, I actually don't.
basically,
I
the
actually
reason
don't.
I haven't played Football Manager for a week is because of paddles. Because I got to the end of season 2 of my Familiar Cow save, and he said, "You can't carry on playing. You have to do a blog about it." Well, I haven't had time to do a blog because I've played no FM. So that could
I
be it
stand
for me.
by
Now.
it.
That could be me. That could be me done for FM24 now.
That's a save done, Joe.
Paul Madden absolutely fucked me over.
Not
I was
for
really
If
sure.
you
enjoying
are
it as well.
interested in joining the podcast, please let us know to replace Joe when he now he's
What
had
do you
enough.
just-
Mad's
save a
fucked off
copy of
to
season 2.
Talking magpies.
Oh yeah, Dave's on
Fucking-
Talking Wolves,
Yeah.
and me and you just
And
talk
you're
nonsense.
going to talk at
Talk shite.
special
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
I'm not going back. They won't let me back.
ADEGDS.
Joe, I stand by what I said. It's in your best interests. Because if you keep going and if you get anywhere close to half or another season, you're never going to blog about it. And we want to blog. Well,
To
maybe
be
I
fair,
do, and
I'm
you-
probably never going to blog about it. So
If people want
Content
updates, they listen to the
content
pod.
kills saves.
you
Yeah.
can't have
Yes,
your cake
exactly
and
what I
eat
was about to say. Content kill saves.
I was loving
Dave,
it,
let me
mate.
jump out and jump
I was
back
even
in.
messaging Dave on Sunday night, giving him my results.
Like privately, he's just sending me his updates. Yeah.
it. They secretly
We're
play
in the
it.
chat too.
And now
Nah,
Mad
we're in the
has
chat.
ruined it for me.
Yeah.
Well done, Mad.
You're welcome.
Joe's crying.
That's what I wrote. Anybody else want their saves killed? Come to me. I'll sort you out.
Right, talking about save killers, Mad, who's your loser of the week?
Not so much save killer, more like buzz killer. I'm struggling with this one.
Dildo run out?
Say that again.
That's plugged into the mains, mate.
Yeah. Loser of the week is what happened in Paris. One night in Paris. When Newcastle played PSG, of course. Most of you will be familiar with this.
Still talking about this.
But I'm still trying to get my head around what exactly happened, because the podcasts I've listened to have since kind of said that the UEFA, it's the rule that's wrong, basically, not the ref. But what I'm struggling with is why nobody else in the entire universe seemed to know that up until at least 24 hours after the game was played. So like now maybe it's just because it's all British or UK or Premier League kind of journalists and commentators, but like Gary Lineker, fucking everyone was tweeting like, "How is that a penalty? How is that a penalty?" It's taken this to come out that UEFA has different rules to the Premier League, which again I'm also baffled by. And the final thing is I don't know where 8 minutes came from, and nobody seems to know where 8 minutes came from. Newcastle didn't make a single substitution, so I don't know where they've got 8 minutes from. But like, I'm not going to spend too much about it, but I'm just very confused still about what the fuck happened. Being
Right.
honest.
Now I'm going to take you back to game week 1 in Bayern Munich, where Christian Eriksen gets the ball headed onto his hand from about 2 yards, and they give a penalty. And this whole conversation came up then about them having different rules. Unfortunately, it is just the way that UEFA are at the moment. They have different ruling on the penalties than we have as a Premier League. If you go watch Spanish football, it's exactly the same as the UEFA's rules.
But like the
so
thing
it's not
that's
all just
confusing
you.
me is it's hit his chest and then it's hit his underarm, and
Yeah,
like this whole thing
he
with off
struck
the body,
his
but
arm in the
apparently
penalty area.
the,
It's literally the rules.
like there was one earlier in the same game where Lewis Miley hit his kind of body and then onto his arm, which was a bit lower down. Apparently in the Bayern and Copenhagen game, there was an almost identical incident that wasn't given. So it's all just a bit confusing, as it always fucking is. And it only takes something shit to happen for then something to be done right about it and clarified and so on. Anyway,
This is pretty much why I don't watch football anymore, because I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
There's so much talk about all this other bollocks other than football, so I just don't watch it anymore.
And like
Literally,
I
can't even remember the last match I watched.
Well, you're going to see one in 2 weeks with us, but like I spent 93 minutes, particularly the second
Somebody's
half of the
gonna be
93
there.
minutes.
Me and Joe's going to Red Dog, mate.
Newcastle. Yeah, clean up your mess. Watching Newcastle put in this crazy defensive performance, like PSG had an XG of like 4.5 or something, didn't score.
XG, snore off.
Yeah, but you see my point here, right? Newcastle defended for the whole second half, and nobody's really talking about that anymore because of this one decision on the 94th minute that was a load of shit. But anyway, yeah, you're right, Joe. Your point is valid because there's particularly these big games. There's always an incident that takes away from the football.
I've said it a million times on the pod, mate. Analysis has ruined the beautiful game.
Do you
fair.
think that Mad realizes he's on his FM podcast, not his Newcastle podcast? With that little rant.
I rarely know where I am.
It's like having Matt
asked
talk
me
Breathe.
about
question,
Tottenham. Yeah.
the Spurs podcast.
Breathe. You okay, Matt? Mad? You all right?
You can give me a hug in 2 weeks,
No, you're all right.
and then some.
Poor you. We'll see how the result goes at the weekend. Dave, who's your loser of the week?
Unfortunately, my bus has broken down in South Africa, mate. Yeah, we'll talk about it during the save update, but basically, I've traded it in.
Wow.
Part
Box
X.
bus.
We buy
The
any
vendor bus is no
bus.com.
more.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Nice. Well, actually, probably goes quite nicely with my loser of the week, and we'll wrap up this segment with the fact that I'm going to be honest, I'm going to go with the script. I haven't even started FM properly, and it's bugging me. I'm not really that into this United save, so much so since we last spoke, I've not played it. So I have no save update to kind of update you today. And that is my loser of the week. So let's crack on and jump into some save updates. And Dave, as you teased us there with the Wenger bus breaking down, I'm going to start with Matt. No, I'm joking. I'm going to start with Dave.
Yeah, so
Talk to
I finished season 1. I've just kicked off season 2. So yeah, played. I think I was about the halfway point last season of the first season of the Pentagon Challenge. So we took over a team, second division of South Africa, Vendor FC. Last week's pod, it was halfway through the season. I was top of the league and nice little lead. We got promoted. We won the league, but it was a hell of a lot closer than I wanted it to be, if I'm completely honest. We got there's only 30 league games altogether, and with about 20 gone, I was about 11 points clear at the top of the league, and I thought we'd done it. We're getting that promotion on the CV, nice and easy. And then it got to about 5 games left, and the points had gone down to 6. The point difference had gone down to 6 points, and then with about 3 games left, it was about 4 points. So it was tight. I think at one point it was 1 point in it between me and another team called Milford FC, who ultimately finished second. But yeah, I held on, won the league on 69 points, as you do.
Nice.
Milford finished second, but lost out in the playoffs, so they didn't even get promoted. But they were on 68, so we got promoted with Vendor. My plan was to stay with them. I had a £13,000 wage budget, which I was close to spending that on a team that was second division quality, and I thought we're going to need a real kick up the backside here if we're going to, compete in the first division, which I felt with a busy pre-season and a productive, I would have had to be savvy with contracts and transfers, but I felt that I could, get a squad that I would keep in the Premier League. But sort of as I started doing some negotiating and looking at the window, I thought, I'll just have a quick look at the jobs, see what's about. And there were a couple of jobs available in the South African Premier League. There were 2 available. I think Orlando Pirates was one, and the other one was Super Sport United. Now, back in the day when I completed the Pentagon Challenge, the team I did it with was actually Super Sport United, the African Champions League. I thought, right, I'll apply for that one, and I'll apply for the Orlando Pirates job, not expecting anything back off them. Super Sport United in the first season had been in the African Confederations Cup, so sort of like the Europa League of Africa, and they offered me a job straight away. They were impressed with how well I was doing with Vendor and so on. I thought, flipping heck, right, okay. Went through the interview process, was absolutely fine. Obviously, they were a little bit concerned because I was looking at other jobs as well. But they offered me the job. So their wage budget was £45,000 compared to the £10,000 that I had at Vendor. Their transfer budget was about 200k compared to the $5,000 that I had at Vendor. Their overall balance was about 1.5 million compared to the minus 100k I had at Vendor. So it was a no-brainer in terms of progression. The first press conference came in. Obviously, I had to apologise to the Vendor fans. All 56 of them that had left the club. But yeah, I mean, I've joined Supersport and I've kicked off the season and built a nice squad. I mean, in terms of my, like, to put it into context, I'm getting 8,500 come and watch my games compared to about 150 people that were watching vendor games. My concern is, and not that I'm asked, I think it's going to be a long season for vendor because they've got promoted. And I'm saying that they have just picked up a point on their second game, but they've built a squad of about 13 players to compete in this season. And it's just not, it's not great. Well, I've got like South African internationals. I'm about to sign an ex-Russian international goalkeeper. So I'm going to have a good squad, but I'm hopeful. I think genuinely I don't know if I'll win the league, but I could genuinely push for continental football again within season 2, which would obviously be amazing. So far, so good, and progressing a lot quicker than I expected on the save so far.
I suppose it's not an unusual move. I suppose you've done one season, starting off, and then you've kind of found your way up. But like, do you think are you doing badges along the way? I suppose your reputation would have jumped with the finish you had with Venda, I suppose. But
yeah, so I did one badge with Venda, and I'm studying for my national. To be fair, I'm studying for my national B, but I think Venda paid for that actually just before I left. So
Dave.
I do feel a bit bad for that.
Nice.
So yeah, so I mean, my attributes are still, 4s and 5s. They're not very good, but my reputation's gone up to 1 star. 36 games played as a manager. Again, using this number, 69% win percentage overall. So it's a good start really. So it's using the same system for now that I used. I've got a young striker. I was looking at the squad. A young striker, 16 years of age, 15 finishing, good composure. And I thought, yes, give me a bit of that. So he's already scored a couple of goals at the start of the season. So, but yes, going to obviously carry on doing the coaching badges because that helps with the attributes and obviously the reputation along the way.
How many times is this that you've managed Supersport? 2 or 3?
I don't think I managed them last year, so it'll be 2. Yeah, this was the second time.
Time for a shirt?
Mate, it could be.
Ooh.
It's a shout out. I don't even know. You know what? With Vendor, I looked at the stadium and stuff. I haven't looked at Supersport Stadium or their kits. Whilst I'm on, let me have a look. Supersport, what's their name? Supersport United.
Where's Michael Holford when we need him?
Mate, they got the Umbro, They got the Umbro.
You're it up on screen.
Umbro, South Africa. Yeah, I'll get what do you want me to show you lot now or what?
Yeah, Dave's just quickly getting off DHgate.
No. They're
legit companies.
I don't know what the currency is in South Africa. But I like a bit that one there. This was last year's replica jersey. That's
a bit Dutchy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pasta Dutchy.
Right, yeah.
I like the white one.
Oh, that white one, nice. The warm-up tee.
This one.
Yeah, that middle one as well is a bit like Japan-esque, isn't it?
Hey, look at these.
That bottom left. That's nice.
Spicy,
this is perfect for the audio listeners, but there are some very snazzy designs. So, yeah, man, a bit questionable.
I think that one's my favourite.
Which one? That's something that your dad would make on FM, to be fair. But
I've seen that. Somebody's made that for me.
I'm sure.
It's your dog. He's looking at mad.
That's City Kings, isn't it? Whatever Dupe save was. Yeah. No. But yeah, some of them, I'll have to have a look. I don't know. Genuinely don't know what the South African, what that is. I mean, let me search it. What is it? South African currency.
Is it Rand? R-A-N-D?
Rand. Yeah. So how much was that? 600, say 607.
It's about 33 quid, mate.
Join us next week for more currency conversions live on the 5-Star Pod.
Yeah, it won't even come up for me, so. Sorry.
So there will be a link in the
25 quid
for a GoFundMe for Dave's.
25 quid for this year's jersey.
Get on.
That's all right, isn't it?
Get on.
Yeah, but you got to pay 160 quid to bring it into the country.
Yeah. I'll have to have a look at them. Smart.
Dave, the amount I've subbed to your Twitch channel when you weren't streaming is more than paid for that fucking kit, so just get it done.
I'm liking that away the jersey, man.
He's so tight, mate. When he pisses, it whistles.
Who, me or Dupe? Me.
Yeah. How am I tight? I'm literally the opposite to tight.
He's
I am,
loose.
I am. Sorry.
Right, Dave. So that's is this the team that's going to take you to the Champions League, or are you hoping that you might have a
I think
stepping stone?
I think this was probably. I think they've got the finances and the facilities to definitely be a team that we can win the African Champions League with. If it's this, I mean, obviously it's not going to be this season. We're not in any continental competition because they finished like mid-table, but they've got a good squad. So I've got a little bit of money. Like I've got 300 or 400 quid in the 300 or 400k, sorry, the transfer budget. And that's actually quite a lot of money for a transfer budget in South Africa. So I might have to start spending it. I think I'm trying to be clever at the moment with like bringing in youth players that are good enough and can compete. But I might start spending it on the Never Never and just go for it and see what happens. Try and get the best players in and just try and get it sorted sooner rather than later.
Just when you get towards the end of the season, you have to do you have to give them the talk. When it's getting close to it, you have to just use the line, say, right, we're Afrikaans, not Afrikaans.
Yeah. I like that.
That's the joys of doing the penalty, though. Like, put stuff on the Never Never, and then if it doesn't work, just go to a different club and financially cripple them.
Yeah. I might have to do it, to be fair.
Happy days. Talking about financial crippling, Mad, how is your time in Sweden?
There wasn't much finances to cripple, really, so that's a good news. I think the last time we spoke, I had just started the second season, having won the league in the first one, and we've been moving along quite steadily, I suppose. It's gone very well in the league, Dupe. Probably too well, where I had some alarm bells because I was like winning quite a lot of games. We started off, we won 6 games in a row. Now, granted, 3 out of the 4 to get 3 out of 4 combined were newly promoted teams, and with 3 results against those newly promoted teams were like 5-2, 6-3, and 6-1. So the goals for column has gone up quite a lot, and from there we just went on a really good run of form. I actually as well didn't make too many signings in the summer. I only really brought in 2 players. There was the player I couldn't pronounce last week. We won't go into that anymore. And that other fellow was that Jeppe Ockels lad, who I think a lot of people are aware with, but. I think that's probably played in our favor because, quite often if you come into a new season and you sign 5, 6 first team players, the dynamics kind of go a bit upside down and you got to take time to settle. So basically so the start of the season, basically the beginning of April, up to the end of July. So that's kind of 3 full months, brought us to about, I want to say it's about 15 games played, unbeaten in the league and top of the league. We had won 11 and drawn 4, which is really, really good. And by the time you get to July, then that's when we find out information about the Champions League. So having won the league last year, we've managed to get into this. It's basically called the League Champions Playoff Path or something. It's the way they do the qualification now. And basically, I landed into the second qualifier round. So there's a second round, a third round, a playoff, all to get into that new Champions League format. So the first team we got drawn up against is a hard one to pronounce, but I think it's Qarabag from Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
Coming
Qarabag.
out with that.
Qarabag.
Yeah, thanks, Dupe. Qarabag. We drew 2 legs. We played them at home. This was all on stream, actually, so it was quite stressful. Played them at home, and we drew 4-4. And I think at one point we were 4-2 up at least, and sort of bottled it and threw that away a little bit. So that was a bit of panic stations because we were at home. Now, thankfully, there's no away goals at that stage. So then we've gone to Azerbaijan, which probably did cripple the finances, flying all the lads over. And thankfully, we actually managed to win that game 4-1. So that actually brought us into the third, the third section of the qualifying path. And that team that we got in there is Ammonia Nicosia from Cyprus. I think they're the Cypriot champions. All I know about them is Neil Lennon was managing there, I think a year or 2 ago. I'm pretty sure. Unless it was Mick McCarthy, Dave, but I'm pretty sure it was Neil Lennon.
Which team was that, sorry?
Ammonia Nicosia, I think it was Neil
McCarthy
Lennon.
did manage in.
He did,
I think,
but I think it was Apoel.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, I think it was Applewell.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Cyprus is the place to be.
I think we had them in the Europa League a couple of years ago.
It was Applewell, McCarthy, yeah.
Apoel, yeah. So we then come to play Ammonia. I actually played this today, the day of recording, only about 2 hours ago. First leg again at home. We had a 0-0 draw, which was a bit like, oh fuck. Bearing in mind we've been scoring mega freely in the league, and I'll come to the boy Jonah in a minute because of goals. So then obviously we've got to go and travel to Cyprus, and like one of the big missions of this save is about Champions League, getting into the Champions League, and then trying to kind of mount a bit of a I don't know, a bit of a run, let's say. In my head, it was originally get into a group with 3 other teams and qualify, but now we've got this new format. So basically, it's just get in there and try not to get the shit kicked out of you. So we went and played the second leg away in Cyprus, and we won 1-0. A goal by a young fellow who was suggested by Chad, actually, Anders Hartfeld Reicht, Ryste. And that's got us into the final round of the qualifiers, which I haven't played yet. And that is against Young Boys of Switzerland, who will be definitely a step up, I think. And they have plenty of cash as well. So I haven't really looked at their team yet. It literally just happened before we started recording. So that's good fun because it just messes with my head a little bit because it's all in the middle of a season. So like I'm still kind of doing my stuff in the league, but like all of a sudden now jumping in these qualifiers, and I'm only halfway in the league. So as of today, I think I've played 18 games. We're still top of the league. But I'd mentioned I had a couple of draws there. I had a draw against Karabakh, I had a draw against Ammonia. We also had 2 draws in the league. So in 5 games, I had 4 draws. And I don't like to be tinfoil hat, but that kind of coincides with an FM update that came out today. So that's always in the back of your mind. Has something changed?
And the fact you're playing in Ikea country. Plenty of
And
draws,
the
some.
fact that I'm in country, and I tend to fold a lot. Hello.
Matt, did you I had a question last week about the fact of the registration issues you might have during the change of the seasons and your registration issues. Is that a thing yet, or have you not got there yet?
So the only thing I've noticed is after every single, so I played Karabakh. We had to pick a Champions League side for that. So I picked, it was 25-man squad, and as soon as we come out of that, I had to pick it again. And now that we've come out, I have to do it again. So it's like they're asking you every time to pick a squad. So
Okay.
maybe that's allowing for movement, I suppose. I'll see what happens if and when we do get into group stages, if the timing of that changes. Because the transfer window is open now in Sweden as well as everywhere else as we speak. So hopefully it won't be an issue, but I might know if we do manage to beat Young Boys. But I have it on good authority that even if we don't beat Young Boys, I might get into either Europa or the Conference League. But it's just not super clear when you go and look at the rules and the paths and all that.
Well,
and yeah, so it's going really well. We'll find out indeed. The only other thing to throw out there is where like some individual performances. Like as I look at the Allsvenskan profile page, top of the goal charts is my 6'5", 16-year-old striker, Jonah Kusi Asar. I wasn't originally planning to make him first choice this season, but the other guy who finished top scorer last season, actually from Cyprus as well, got injured for like 6 weeks early on in the season. So we've thrown Jonah in there. I've been mixing between a target forward with a couple of instructions around like moving around channels and stuff, and an advance forward. 18 games. We've played 18 games in the league, and he's scored 14 goals, and he's 16. It's great to watch. Now, caveat, lads, he's on penalties, and probably 4 or 5 of them are penalties. But he scores with his head, he scores with his feet, and he's very easy to see in the match engine, which is great fun. So
4 or 5 of them are penalties, even though your assistant says he shouldn't be on penalties.
Yes, that was great. Not only that, Joe, the assistant, you saw this on stream. The assistant actually said in the advice that we should remove Jonah from penalties because he's literally the worst option we could pick. Now, numerically, he wasn't. Like, he's in there and around, I can't remember, it's 9 or 10 or something. But he hasn't missed one yet, and he's scored 4 or 5. So the assistant is always quite strong in Football Manager historically, right? Everybody knows that. So yeah, really enjoying that. I did see FM Scout actually tweet since a video. I think they made a video about Jonah as well. So he's definitely going to start doing the rounds, I'd say. And look forward to seeing him a bit more in real life, hopefully next season. But it won't be until February when that league starts in real life. So we'll have to wait a little bit. And yeah, other than that, Oscar Hoyland is still banging it as a Mazzala. He's got 9 goals in the league so far. Yeah, really, really good at that level as well.
Nice to hear, Matt. Nice to hear indeed. Like I said, I'm sure we'll find out some more about that next week. Joe, are you wanting to update us? You said you haven't played much.
I think I might save this for a bump one, mainly because I can't remember. everything that happened because Mad made me stop playing. So
Good shout.
I think a little roundup would be, I think last week we spoke about my striker, Wonderkid-Land, who wanted to leave, was leaving it right till the last minute. I bought in Simeone's son to play up front, and he was on fire for me. Had a really, really good season. I've had loads of problems with players wanting to leave and then end up staying or go. Like, it's been a bit consistently inconsistent with players. So I need to go back and just kind of work out who was where and what happened. But you guys, I think was it after last week's pod, I smashed Benfica. Like, I was like, oh,
Yes.
this is good. Like, quite early in the
Yes.
season, smashed them. And then Sporting, I think I beat them as well. Gyökeres with his 2-footed challenge. So they went down to 10 men, beat them. I was thinking, second season, going to have a few results against the big boys here. Nuno was the Porto manager. I was thinking, and he'd been turned over a few times. I thought, here we go, going to play Porto. They sacked Nuno and they bought in Vincent Kompany, and I got absolutely dicked on.
It's a company.
Oh, no.
He was like 5-1 or something like that. I got beat. But yeah, so that made it interesting when Vinny Kompany took over. So yeah, there's I think De Zerbi's at Benfica now. Kompany is it was Nuno was at Porto. Now Kompany's there. And I think Amorim was still at Sporting until the end of the season, and then he left to go to Juventus. So there's a bit of a merry-go-round going on there. But yeah, I think next week I'll do a proper season update. And Mad might let me play it for a little bit longer.
I'll see.
Fingers crossed. So as I referenced as loser of the week, unfortunately I don't have a save update. So I think that brings us nicely onto heading over and seeing our Wonderkid for the week. This week's adventure in Wonderkid-Land takes us to Argentina, where we see Claudio Echeverri. I didn't do it with the accent like we rehearsed, but we're going to go with that. He is a 17-year-old playmaker.
No one said do an accent.
Is he Welsh?
He's a 17-year-old playmaker who plays, who a lot of Football Manager players were probably already aware of. But now the mainstream, well, we say mainstream, Twitter media have got hold of him after he was the first player to score a hat-trick at the Under-17s World Cup for Argentina. And he did it in the quarterfinals against Brazil. What an incredible way to announce yourself. So let's have a little look at him in FM. What are we saying, gentlemen?
I saw Jack sign him early doors. I'd kind of, when you first get the new FM and you start having a look through at like little players, obviously you go straight to Argentina and Brazil and start having a little look around who's good. And he immediately kind of caught the eye. And then I saw Jack work the space, signed him in his Chelsea save, which he was literally, he's spending like £1 billion every transfer window. And he signed this kid and he played him pretty much immediately. But I think it was maybe the second season that he signed him in, and he was giving him game time and he was already doing the business like in the Premier League for Chelsea. So yeah, he looked good. Obviously, I love a South American, so he's definitely one that at Famalicão I've got on the old short list. I don't think I'm ever going to have enough money to sign him, but you never know.
He's showing for me that he's 17 at the start of FM24 with a value of 5.5 to 8 million. That's euros now in my save, but yeah, it's probably fairly pricey as well for 17-year-old. But you're definitely looking at I would say an explosive player. Like the things that jumped out straight away: the flair 16, first touch and technique, and a 17, and then 14. Off the ball 14. There's a lot of 14s in here for things that are like essential. And the one thing that I really like about this player, because you know how we all like a bit of retraining and being able to look at a player and then decide where you're going to use him. It looks like he could play anywhere in kind of any of the attacking midfield roles, left, right, center, or as a striker, kind of depending on what you need. So I always like that, especially if he's 2-footed.
I think I look at one of his player traits: shoots from distance. Half decent long shots already, good technique. Mate, he's scoring you some absolute bangers on this match engine. I think the only thing that lets him down, but I think it will obviously get better as he gets older. Physically, he's not good yet. He's got the pace and so on, but obviously
he's 5'7", son.
Yeah, but the fitness and stamina side of things, you'd want it maybe.
He's a Pablo Piatti.
Yeah. But you look at the, like I said, flair, like you've already mentioned, first touch, he's on the ball. he's gonna like be stunning. And I think in terms of some of the things that you could see him recreating the match engine, like obviously on the wall save, I signed Messi, and he was like, oh yeah, whatever. But like he was finding passes and the vision and some of the balls that he was playing that I've not seen any other player play yet on Football Manager. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm thinking he could create those sort of opportunities as well. Then I see his vision's 10 actually, so probably not.
Yeah, but look at the
He's
trade.
got an eye patch on.
Look at
He's got the new eye patch.
I think you're like.
He's
I
got the
think you're
new eye
fine once
patch.
it's a double. Once it's a double figures by that age, I think you're okay. I think it's going to jump up fairly quickly. But look at the player traits, Dave. Tries killer balls often. Like that's
Yeah.
that's got that all written all over it. You know.
Doesn't say
Well,
succeeds
it's,
though, does it?
Cuts
Just
inside
says
from left
tries
foot,
them.
mate. Inverted forward or inside forward. Shoots from range, mate. You're getting those like long range finesse shots from him.
laugh.
Good with
nah,
both
it's
feet.
good.
He's got a slit in his eyebrow,
he's
so he's
like
going to be hard.
Yeah, it's good little.
For 5
He's
foot
like a lot B-Tech mini Messi, isn't he?
Mm,
Mate,
more
I
of
bet
a-
if you got an FM or screenshot of 17-year-old Messi,
Mm.
mate,
a lot
big
better than that.
dicks all over that.
You can see here is it's interesting his penalty taking is down as 8 because in that so he scored that hat-trick in the quarterfinal of the under-17 World Cup against Brazil. Argentina then got knocked out against Germany in a penalty shootout in the semi-final, and our boy here Echeverry missed a penalty, I believe. So
Oh,
he
wow.
needs to improve his penalty take.
I do think, to be fair, I think a lot of his attributes probably aren't set in the database. So people may load him up and he may have varying attributes, to be fair. But for a fact, he's potentially very, very good on Football Manager. So you're going to get, if you load up a save and he's got good determination, I would jump on it if you can, because he'll turn into be a very, very good player.
Yes.
What a
Dave
lovely
knows.
way to end that segment, David. And back to you, mate, as apparently you have a quiz.
So yeah, I know I said I might have teased that I was going to mix it up and change the format, but unfortunately I haven't had time to do that. So Duke will be delighted to know that it is a career paths. But Duke, I think you might have a
Career
chance
paths.
to at least get one.
Is it
Have you
my
had
career
one?
path? Because I still fucked that up. Are you reading from
Yeah,
my
so-
CV?
So we spoke a little
Can't
bit about
spell CV.
Champions League. So I've got a list of 10 Champions League. You could say legends, but people that have been a big part of the Champions League history. Oh yeah, he played over 100 games, so you should know every single one. It's just going to be who's got the fastest finger. So we're going to start with number 1. Started his career at Marítimo in Portugal. Then moved to Porto. Then moved to Real Madrid. Then moved to Besiktas. Joe?
Pepe.
It is Pepe Bosch.
I was going to say Pepe.
choice.
No,
He
no,
scored this week as well, did
Good
he?
choice.
Score against Barca.
There was an article about him. I can't remember who it was. Someone was praising him for like the dedication he actually puts in. Like you think he's a bit of a shithouse, but he's like
player.
He's
proper,
old now,
proper
isn't he?
professional.
He's
Yeah, he's
40
like
is he
42, something, 41, 42.
Yeah.
It's fucking, that's old.
All
right, watch yourself.
He's
Don't worry, she
40,
got
yeah.
there. I won't.
Yeah, fair point.
Next player started his career at Bahia, I think it is. Then moved to Sevilla. Then moved to Barcelona. Then moved to Juventus. Then moved to Paris Saint-Germain. Then moved to Sao Paulo. Then moved back to Barcelona.
Oh, it's because
Mad.
you messed up the first one. I know it is as well. It's because you messed the first name up. Yeah, I know it is as well. Currently in jail.
Mad.
I don't know. Is it Danny Alves?
Yeah, he's Danny Alves. Sorry, how am I saying that, Joe?
Yeah.
Bahia.
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 Bahia. I think, or Bahia.
Sorry.
Bahia.
Oh, Bahia. Yeah, Bahia.
Yeah, sorry.
Bahia.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't know how to
Yeah.
say it. Next one. Started his career at Ajax. Then moved to Sampdoria. Then moved to Real Madrid.
Mad.
Mad.
I think I've gone too soon. Christian Karembu.
I mean, we talk about Champions League legends. I've never heard of that bloke in my life. So no.
Okay,
it's
What?
not.
never mind. I know.
Oh,
What's his
mate,
name?
mad. I'm with you, mate. Christian
Uh,
Carambo.
mm,
He's a legend.
He's played for Sampdoria.
Sampdoria, moved to Real Madrid, then moved to Inter, then moved to AC Milan, and then he finished his career at Botafogo.
Go, just quickly run through them again.
Ajax, Sampdoria,
Mad.
mad.
Seedorf.
It is Clarence Seedorf, yeah.
I didn't know the Sampdoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Played
didn't
32 times there,
Wow.
95, 96.
I knew the Botafogo.
He's,
Botafogo.
Mm.
He's the legend, mate.
Yeah.
Has he still got
Isn't
the
he
most
like-
Champions League wins? Or with different teams or something?
Yeah, he's
I only
got
played
a
for the
three-
Champions League with 3 different clubs, yeah.
Mate, he's still a player.
Yeah.
Like he's so good now. Like you watch him in all these exhibition games, still a baller.
Yeah. Next one. Started his career at Dynamo Kiev.
Mad.
Then moved to Mad.
Shevchenko.
It is Shevchenko, yeah. Tapping.
It was him or Rebrov, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiev, AC Milan, Chelsea, AC Milan loan, and then
Had to be done.
Dynamo Kiev. Mate, his record at AC Milan is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, he was deadly then.
127 goals in 208 league games. Next one. Started his career at Sporting. Then moved
Dupe.
to Dupe.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Wrong. Sorry.
I'm so far behind.
Oh, sorry. Sporting.
I was wrong. Okay.
Uh,
Genuinely.
Play- then moved to Barcelona.
Joe,
Joe.
Luis Figo.
It is Luis Figo. Sporting, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Inter Milan. Next one. Started his career at West Ham United. Then moved to Swansea City on loan. Then moved to Chelsea.
Mad.
Oh
Mad.
yeah, for fuck's sake.
Francis Lampard.
That's not his
I mean,
actual.
his name's Frank.
Frank James.
Lampard
Frank Lampard Jr.
Jr.
That Frank.
Next one. Started his career at Monaco. Then moved
Joe?
to Joe.
David Trezeguet.
No, unfortunately not.
Fuck, I was about to go Evra, and then I thought you was going to say Juventus. I was like, ugh.
Monaco. Then Juventus.
Oh fuck.
Fuck.
Then he moved to
Mad.
Arsenal. Mad?
Thierry on. Yeah. Thierry
Yeah,
Henry.
it's Thierry Henry, yeah. Monaco, Juventus, Arsenal, Barcelona, New York Red Bulls, and then back to Arsenal. Again on loan. Dude, you're doing well this
Did he
week, son.
retire?
He has Thierry Henry. I mean, I'd hope he's retired, yeah.
Did he retire
Oh, he
at
re-
New York Red Bulls?
Yeah, he did 2014, yeah.
Oh, cool.
He's
Currently
taken up a new
manager of
sport
France
since,
under
I believe
21s.
It's called handball. Prick.
Is he still there with all the media work he does?
Yeah. Right, I'll try and pronounce this team. He started his career at Atletico Paranaense.
Mhm.
Who?
Then he moved to Shakhtar Donetsk. Then he moved to Manchester City.
Mad. Oh,
Mad.
No. Oh, yes.
Go on. Go on.
Is it not fucking? Oh god, I'm thrown off with the amount of Brazilians because there's no way it's a Champions League legend. What's called that guy? I don't know, Joe or whatever his name is. I don't know. He's
No, not
Champions
Joe.
League legend.
Fernandinho.
It is Fernandinho. Currently plays again for Atletico Paranaense. Or however you
Paranaense.
say it.
Did that Joe guy come from Shakhtar as well? No. Didn't matter.
Joe. I think
And
you're thinking of
Delano.
Fred. Fred, maybe?
Remember Alano?
Yeah, Lano's a baller.
Lano,
Had a
yeah.
free
Quality,
kick and a
wasn't
half on him. Right. Penultimate one. Started his career at Real Sociedad. Then he moved to Eibar on loan. Then he moved to Liverpool. Then he moved to Real
Joe.
Madrid. Joe.
Joe.
Ah, mad.
Xabi Alonso.
It is Xabi Alonso. Currently doing the ting with Germany and Bayer Leverkusen.
Yes.
He's probably
close.
the greatest ever retirement photo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we
Sick.
go. Man,
I
at
love
the age
that.
of 15, Alonso
just
went to the
yeah.
Irish town of Kells.
Yeah, yeah, that's well known actually. He was there on a school soccer thing.
He
Or
played
something.
Gaelic football.
The Peter Crouch story as well about when he joined Liverpool, and he said he thought he had a shot with the hotel receptionist, and he's
yeah.
Xabi Alonso's missus.
Yeah.
Right, final one then. Is this all to play for? Dupe, I think, unfortunately, you're out of the race, but let's say last point winner. Started his career at União São João. Then he moved to
Dupe.
Palmeiras. Or Dupe?
I ain't got a clue. I don't know.
No.
Right? Even I
Well,
just-
have a shout, a random shout. Go on. I think you can guess where he's from.
What was the first one?
União São João, and then he moved to Palmeiras.
I will go for Kaka. I don't know.
No, unfortunately not. He then moved to Inter Milan. Then he
Mad.
moved to Mad.
Adriano.
No, unfortunately not. Then he moved to Real Madrid. Then he moved to Fenerbahce. Then he moved to Corinthians. Then he moved to Anzi Makalaka.
Mad. No.
Mad.
No. Forget about it.
And then he finished his career at Delhi Dynamos. I thought the Anzi one would give it away.
I had Eto'o in Samuel Eto'o because he went to Angie, but it's obviously not.
He didn't get a Real.
He was at Real at one point.
He was at Real, yeah.
Go for it.
So we have
Palmeiras,
yeah,
and then where?
Palmeiras,
Palmeiras,
Inter,
Inter,
Real Madrid, Fenerbahce.
Stop there. Palmeiras, Inter, Real Madrid.
We can't let Dave get us like this, lads.
You'll kick yourself. He has managed a little bit. He was the coach at Anzi for a little bit. Also a manager at Sivasspor.
Oh, mate. It's Roberto Carlos.
It is Roberto
of course.
Carlos. Yeah. Yeah. Was
Shout.
Roberto
Of course it is.
Carlos. Now,
I don't know why I was going Inter Milan. Real Madrid. I'm like, that's such an obvious
yeah.
obvious thing. And I'm thinking, I think I was thinking it the other way around for some reason.
I'm sure there's a good video. I'm sure I've seen a video on Anzi in Russia because they had some ballers. They had Eto'o. They had Roberto Carlos. They had
Christian, whatever his name was.
Yeah, you
The
remember
big length from Blackburn.
Yeah, Samba. You remember Mbar Bassofa as well, Basoufa, the Moroccan guy.
Yeah.
They had some good players there. Right, you have both got 5 points, so I think we have a random playoff to decide who wins it. I'm just going to find one of the players in the same category.
Do it.
Let's go with you. Yeah, this is a good one. Right. Started his career at RS Futebol. Then moved to Juventude. Then moved to Porto B. Then he moved to Dynamo Moscow and went out on loan to Fluminense. Then moved to Fluminense on a permanent deal. Then moved to AC Milan. Then moved to Paris Saint-Germain. Then he moved to Chelsea.
There's just so many clubs at once. I'm completely fucking upside down in my head.
So the
AC Milan, PSG, and Chelsea.
AC Milan, PSG, Chelsea. A big clue here is that he still plays.
Can I genuinely
It's
get
not
this?
Pato, is it?
Yeah, go on.
It's not bad. Dude, if you get this, you win the
Thiago
whole
AC
thing.
Milan.
Thiago Silva.
It is
Yeah.
Thiago Silva, yeah. And Duke wins the quiz.
At the back post.
Yeah.
Thank fuck for that.
Yeah, well done. That was good. We've got, to be fair, a couple of those, like, his career really didn't kick off till what? 2009, which is mad, really.
Yeah, there's so many clubs until you got to fucking Inter Milan or
Yeah.
AC Milan.
Huh?
Fair
Well
play,
done.
Dupe. Delighted for you.
Well done, mate. Good victory.
Good dub.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Phil.
Honestly, I was so bad behind. It's unbelievable.
It's been
I
like
was
that for
going to
6
do the
years,
outro,
mate.
Dave, and then we're going to cut into it after. Oh, that's a bit harsh.
Fucking hell, we on
Okay,
Skype with
alright.
fucking Japan here.
Yeah, we got VAR. Here's.
Crossing live to the jungle.
Honestly,
Just do the outro, dude.
We've just completely lost you, dude. Do the outro.
okay, I'll do the outro. All right. Yeah, man. All right, I'll do it. Calm
He's
down.
such a freak. See?
Yeah, he did.
Honestly, it's mental. Right, that brings episode 329 of this shit show. I can't say that. It's a fucking mess. Right, that brings episode 329 of this podcast to a close. You can find the links for each of us in the podcast description or by visiting 5starpotential.com, where you can find our latest FM24 content. 5-Star Potential is available on iTunes, Spotify, and most of the popular podcast apps and platforms with a new podcast released every single week. Thank you all for listening. Hopefully there'll be more from us next week. Say goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.